Hi there, I'm Jason Sherwood, and this is another Musical Theater Factory vlog. And today we're going to be talking about my set design for the upcoming Fifth Avenue production of Mamma Mia. When Bill Berry called me and asked if I wanted to design Mamma Mia at the Fifth Ave, I was immediately excited at the idea that we were going to create a new production of the show. I'd seen it on Broadway and I'd seen it on tour with my family, and we had an amazing time watching the show and experiencing it together as a group. And I was excited that we were going to take another look at the visual world of it and try to take what is basically an iconic stage brand, a show that so many people have seen and enjoyed, and give it a new visual twist. Something that would evoke the location of Mamma Mia. So we had to be in Greece, surrounded by water, on an island, and that was an incredibly important part of representing the visual world of the show. Historically, the show's been represented with the iconic white kind of stone and stucco Greek buildings and pathways. And when looking at the research and having visited some Greek islands myself, I was excited about the idea of creating a huge vista of water, a sense of sky and water immediately blending into each other, and then an island sitting in the center of it. So Bill Berry and I began going after that idea, that the play itself would take place on a floating island on the stage, surrounded by what would feel like an enormous panoramic vista of gorgeous Greek sky and water. And that became our jumping off point for the entire design. And what we did want to do was avoid anything that felt heavy or leaden or incredibly architectural in a prohibitive way, and instead focus on elements that were sort of lighter and more transparent and porous. So there would always be a sense of sky and water. Things like different decorative wrought iron railings and lattice work and florals and, you know, open iron benches and doorways and shutters, things that were architectural and would define space and tell us a lot about the places that we were in, but would also give us an opportunity to never escape the feeling that you have when you're on an island like that there's water everywhere. There was also the idea that there's essentially a core group of characters who live on the island, Sophie and her mother Donna, and that everyone's kind of visiting the island for the purpose of the wedding, which is a very Shakespearean idea, that people are traveling to Padua to come to visit Bianca and her father. It's a classic theater storytelling idea. And we really wanted to create a way that it felt like there were a group of people who lived here and it was their home, and that other people were traveling towards us. So there are a series of docks and catwalks that make up the entire playing space that suggests a coming and going at all times. There's this one large curved catwalk that sort of descends down into the space, and that's how people make their entrances, with their roller bags arriving for Sophie's wedding. And that became an important idea, that there was a definition between people who lived there and people who didn't live there, and then watching them all arrive for the festivities, and of course the, you know, paternal whodunit of who's my dad. When you get a chance to reinterpret a show that's become iconic like Mamma Mia, I think there are sort of two responsibilities. And one is to come at it from your own vantage point, from your own perspective, with your own ideas. And then the other is to honor what people love about the show. This show, no matter where you do it, no matter with what set you do it with, is going to be hysterical and lighthearted and sentimental and a ton of fun for an audience to watch. And how you sort of make that happen on stage physically is up to the creative team. And so from the get-go, Bill Berry and I knew we wanted to do something a little bit different from what audiences had seen on Broadway and on tour and internationally for Mamma Mia. And I think what we've sort of gone after is a sense of evoking the physical place, but bringing it all back down to the essential elements and really making it about the characters and the people and this big, big sense that they're all existing in this utterly gorgeous kind of Greek vista for the entire duration of the play, and not so much getting mired down into there's a wall here and there's a wall here and there's a wall here. So we're trying to sort of go after the whole play with a bit more lightness. The other thing that we were excited to go after was that the playing space could maybe be pulled forward in the theater at the Fifth Ave. So the audience could in fact be a lot closer to the performance than maybe they typically are for other musicals that we've seen there before, and certainly the other two that I've designed on the Fifth Ave stage before. So it was an opportunity to create a set that felt like it sort of was exploding out of the proscenium and existing in this big, beautiful blue sky and ocean shell that would really take us and transport us to the Greek islands. Thanks so much for joining us for this sneak peek into the design process for Mamma Mia at the Fifth Avenue. We look forward to seeing you at the show.